Hello everyone, this is Wilson. Today I want to talk about this limit problem where we have the sine of 3x over x, and if x is approaching 0, what this function is approaching to, or if the limit exists, right? So what happened is that when we plug in the 0 in here, we are actually having this 3x also approaching 0. And so if 3x is approaching 0 and this is inside the sine function, so sine would also be approaching 0. And then if you plug in the 0 here, then of course the x is approaching 0. So we're actually getting an indeterminate form of 0 over 0. And and so in this case, we cannot really do anything. Like if you have seen my other videos, if you have a rational function, then you can actually factor, or you can multiply by the conjugate, or you can get the common denominator for complex rational expressions. But this one is a trig function over a power function. So how do we handle this? Okay, so first, before we get started, we need to recall a fact so that we can use it to do this problem. Okay, so we know that the limit as theta approaching 0 if you have sine of theta over theta, and this function is approaching 1 as theta is approaching 0. Okay, so remember that this is actually talking about the limit, right? So it's actually wrong to say. It's actually wrong to say. So make sure that you don't say this. It's wrong to say that theta over sine of theta over theta is equal to 1. We cannot really say that. That's only true. The function is only approaching 1 when theta is approaching 0. But if theta is not approaching 0, then we cannot say that that's equal to 1. That's not, they are not equivalent. Okay, so now we can actually use this fact to help us find the limit for to help us find this limit. What happens is that we don't really have the right form, as you can see here, because if you look at this limit, we require that whatever that's inside the sine function to be the same as the denominator, but we are not having that here. That's 3x, but the bottom is x. So we actually need to get it into the right form so that we can use this fact, and then that will help us find the limit. So let's get started. We need to do some algebra manipulation. And so what we can do, okay, is that if we multiply the top and the bottom by a 3, so that we can get a 3 in front of the x, so that that will be the same as whatever that's inside the sine function. Okay, so let's try that here. So we are going to start by multiplying the top and the bottom. Okay, by 3. Okay, so what can we do right now? We can multiply the top by 3 and then the bottom by 3 so that we are not changing the function. Okay, so now as you can see here, we have the 3 and the x, and then we also have a 3x inside, right? So now what we can do is that we can actually write this 3 outside the limit. So we are actually getting 3 times the limit as x approaching 0, and then we have sine of 3x over that 3x. Okay, so now is this in the right form? We still need a little bit more stuff. So as you can see here, we can actually claim that theta is equal to 3x, right? So let's do that. And so if we are claiming that, okay, so theta is equal to 3x, right, as you can see here, then we are actually almost have having the right form. But then now, as you can see here, that's not 3x right here. It's x approaching 0. It's not 3x approaching 0. So you cannot really turn that into a theta. But what we can do is this. When x is approaching 0, we also know that 3x, okay, is approaching 0 as well. And so that's something that we need to know here. And as you can see, when x is getting really small, then when you multiply by 3, even though you're multiplying by 3, it's 3 times larger as before, but it's still approaching 0. So now we can actually say that, okay, so theta is approaching 0, and then sine of 3x, which is theta, sine of theta is over theta. Okay, so now we can actually turn this whole limit, right, into a 1. So we're actually getting, okay, so there was still a 3 on the outside, right? So we can put that 3 on the outside. And then what do we multiply? This is actually just equal to 1, right? As you can see here from this fact. So we have a 1 here. And then now 3 times 1, what is that? That's just 3. And then we are finished with the problem. So it's actually quite simple. We just need to do an algebra manipulation to our function so that we can get it in the right form. Then we can use this fact to help us find the limit. Okay, so that's it for this problem. If you like my video, please subscribe my channel, leave me a comment, and then give me a like. And then also please share my videos to other people who like math. And then also please check out my other videos. And I also want to mention one thing here is that if you have a topic that you want me to do on this YouTube channel, please leave me a comment and then tell me what topic that you want to see. And then I will consider doing that. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you next time.